I drove my rusty pickup to the local game store door. Starfield gleamed upon the shelf, couldn't wait no more. Todd Howard spun his stories of galaxies afar, but when I fired up that game, I didn't get too far. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. They boasted endless planets, each one unique and new. But after planet number 3, I'd seen a deja vu. The critics didn't love it, gave it mediocre scores. Just another space misfire echoed across the boards. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. I searched for epic battles, but the AI wouldn't fight. Characters were wooden and the dialogue was trite. Todd promised me the cosmos, but left me in the dust. Now I'm trading in this game, it's betrayed my trust. Oh, Todd, you weaved a fable of worlds beyond compare, but all I got were glitches and load screens everywhere. Still somehow I'm considering when the next game's not, 'cause hope's a stubborn thing, and I'll give it one more try. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I'll always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true.
In Gotham where the brick stack high, Lego Batman swoops lighting up the sky. Legacy of the Dark Knight, looking so fine, got that reggae rhythm. Games divine, click clack, plastic capes in the breeze. Villains trembling, falling to their knees. From Arkham's ashes, a Lego star's born. This game's so hot, it's Rasta reborn. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Rastabat cave with a brick build vibe. Lego Dark Knight keeping hope alive. Rank snapping, built from Lego blocks. Penguins waddling, but he's out of stock. Suicide Squad tried, but he crashed and burned. Should have been like this, man, lessons learned. GTA 6, Vice City's looking shook. Lego Batman's got them shook in their books. A toy game taking Arkham's holy grail. That's the capes winning, that's the funny tale.
Good day, one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you today? Hopefully good. Hopefully good. We just got some new hardware announcements. It's true. Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. Valve just came out, dropped a bunch of stuff like literally 7 minutes ago. So like hit stream, ready to go. I look at chat, Jacob saying Steam just announced or Valve just announced a bunch of new hardware. I'm like, what? Come again? Go ahead and come again. And here we are. So we're gonna look at it. Okay, we're gonna look at it. It's kind of insane. Okay, kind of insane. Let's just get right into it. Okay, I guess Jacob can just cut this whole opening section and put it in. Valve, the kings, they have revealed three new products. Okay, out of nowhere. What are these products? It is the Steam Frame, the Steam Machine, and the Steam Controller. Okay, what are these? What are these things that they've revealed? Well,
hello, I'm Dave, and I'm Jacob.
maybe we look at the video in a second. What they are is a headset. So it's a new VR headset, the Frame. As you can see here, they have a dedicated article on PC Gamer going through it, but it's a VR headset that is entirely dedicated. There, as you can see, they're keen to point out it is not the Valve Index 2. It is a separate product. It's a fundamental shift in the way that we look at VR. Rather than being a PC VR accessory to play your PC VR games, we see it as just as a new way to play your entire Steam library, whether it's VR or non-VR titles. So it's kind of like, as far as I can understand it, kind of like when you wear the Meta Quest or Apple Vision Pro, and then it has the big display in front of you. It's kind of like their Vision, and then it's an all-in-one device, it seems. Interesting. Continuing on, what else is there? The Steam Machine. This is the one that I'm particularly interested in. It is a cube, not to be confused with another product that, you know, nearly took the world by storm, the Ouya, which you guys might remember, which was also a little bitty cube. Yeah, a little piece of gaming history for you. Ouya. It is not that. This is built by Valve, powered by Steam OS, so same as the Steam Deck. The new Steam Machine is a compact gaming PC, one trying to make good on a promise Valve made long ago. With prototype Steam Machines heading out to reviewers back in 2013, us, being PC Gamer included, the company had grand plans of reinventing what constitutes a gaming PC around its new creation, a Linux-based operating system called SteamOS. And years on, and following a few failed partner launches that you can read all about in our retrospectives on their demises, the project was more or less doomed. By 2018, Valve pulled the plug. Or did it? Turns out Valve never stopped working on SteamOS, plugging away until it landed on the successful formula launched inside the Steam Deck in 2022. And following that success, Valve feels ready to take a second punt at a system with more firepower. Quote, we finally have all the software and hardware bits to make the original vision a reality, said Yazan Aldehayat, a Valve engineer working on the Steam Machine. They mentioned it's the right time because users are already making Steam Machines happen, putting a recovery image of SteamOS onto a range of devices using their Steam Deck while docked. Our customers kind of beat us to it. Here are the specs. An AMD Zen 4 CPU, 16 cores, 12 threads, 16 gigs of RAM. GPU's a semi-custom AMD RDNA 3. Compute units 28, VRAM 8 gigs. Storage comes in either 512 gigabytes or 2 terabytes. Comes with Wi-Fi in the 6E bands. It has Bluetooth support. Watch out, Nintendo Switch. DisplayPort 1.4 and HDMI 2. It's got 2 USB 3 ports, micro SD card slot for expansion. Price is to be determined. It does support 10 gigabit per second USB-C ports, 3.2 Gen 2 ports. Okay, cool. So what he says is, quote, our benchmark has always been that it should have enough performance to play every game on Steam at 4K 60 when you do some sort of upscaling like FSR. That's That's bold. That's bold. That's their goal, is every game on Steam should be playable at 4K 60 when using upscalers. Okay. I had a chance to play Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K with FSR enabled at Valve's HQ, and it ran pretty well on the plucky Steam machine. It was certainly playable. I feel like if you have to say it was playable, it's like, okay, with no significant frame drops during my brief time with it, but neither was it a totally fluid experience. And I enjoyed much smoother gameplay by switching to 1080p, even without any upscaling technology enabled. I'm trying to think, like, for me, and I think a lot of other people, the benefit of this would be to, like, you have your gaming PC, but you have this plugged into your TV in the living room, right? Or your bedroom. If you have like a TV in your bedroom, you plug it into that. So you can still play your PC games without having to hold a Steam Deck or something. And so you're not expecting like cutting edge performance. You're expecting a fluid experience, and maybe that's where this excels. Personally, like, I still believe that I still believe there is a market for like really, really premium products that can give you that like actual 4K 60 experience that's really fluid, you know, equivalent of like a 4070 or something in it. And it's more expensive, but it's in this compact and easy to engage with package. That I do think there's a market for that. Maybe not on the scale that makes it profitable, but maybe we'll get there. I can see why Valve is targeting setting its sight on 4K. With the popularity of 4K TVs for our living rooms, that's likely to be the native resolution for a TV that the Steam machine sits in front of. I mean, I would say it's very, very likely. When I worked at Best Buy back in like 2018, 4K TVs were like already the standard. Like, I don't think we sold, other than like there was this little bitty, I think it was like an 18-inch TV. Like, it was tiny, and it was mainly, we sold it to people who were living in RVs or wanted a TV for their RV that they would attach to like the wall of the RV. Other than that, like, that there, no one would ever buy that, because like literally a monitor was a better value and had high resolution and stuff. But that was like the only 1080p TV we sold, and that was 2018. And now, 7 years going on 8 years later, yeah, I mean, it's, I think 4K is the standard, certainly. So makes sense why they're targeting it, certainly. It's why I think it's fair for a lot of people to be a little frustrated that, for example, so many consoles now are like struggling to maintain 1440p when like the TV tech has certainly outgrown it. The Steam machine is many times faster than the Steam Deck, over 6 times faster according to Valve, though the older handheld isn't the best point of comparison with more modern, discrete components in the Steam machine. Compared to a modern gaming PC, the Steam machine is fairly underpowered, quite literally, as it only packs a 200-watt power supply, a fraction of the size of most modern desktop gaming PCs. Yeah, certainly a fraction. I mean, it's more like, it reminds me of like a gaming laptop. Gaming laptops often have like up to 300 watts of power. Like, it's kind of peaks out at that point. So yeah, it's certainly a little fella. Just a little fella. SteamOS will also work to Valve's benefit for performance. In my colleague's comparative test with the Lenovo Legion Go S using SteamOS, saw an increase of as much as 32% in Cyberpunk 2077 compared to Windows 11. While improvements may be less pronounced on more powerful hardware, Valve's own OS should reduce overheads and allow for higher frames per second than comparable kits using Windows. Which, can we just agree, that's insane? Using SteamOS leads to 32% improved performance over Windows. Like, what are we doing? Satya, figure it out. What are we doing? What are we doing? Valve has also confirmed a few details about the Steam machine's GPU. It has 28 compute units hewn from the RDNA 3 architecture and a clock speed of around 2.4 to 2.5 gigahertz. It has a TDP of around 110 to 130 watts, and it's derivative of the Navi 33 GPU used across much of the mid to low end Radeon 7000 series. It's a semi-custom GPU. That's nothing new for AMD. The company provides similar solutions for the Steam Deck, Xbox, PlayStation, various handheld gaming PCs. How much needs to be changed to earn that semi-custom title varies. These chips run for the gamut from rebadge to redesign. That does mean this GPU might not be an exact match for anything currently offered in the Radeon 7000 series, though being derived from Navi 33 gives us a pretty good idea of where it should land. There's no desktop graphics card that's a close match for the Steam Machine. The RX 7400 has the same number of CUs, but a lower clock speed and much lower power draw. The RX 7600 has a higher clock speed, more CUs, and a higher power draw. If you were to increase the clock speed of the RX 7400, the power draw would increase and land you roughly in line with the Steam Machine. But there could be a little bit more to it than that. So overall, I mean, it seems like it's just not really clear. The original Steam Machines look like set-top boxes intended to sit below your TV. Thankfully, Valve has taken the new Steam Machine in a new direction. A small black box might not be the most exciting design on the planet, but thankfully, be thankful it's not an eyesore like the PS5. Honest question, do people consider the PS5 an eyesore? I consider it clunky and like kind of difficult to put anywhere because it's so weirdly shaped. But isn't an eyesore? Goofy's maybe a good word. Soft chips. I feel like that's a good way to describe it. It's goofy. Yeah, it's goofy. I appreciated that it was like bold when they announced it. I remember seeing like, I don't remember if they announced the Xbox first or the PlayStation first, but I remember comparing the two and just being like, the Xbox is it's a box, you know, it's a box for sure. And then the PlayStation is this really bizarrely shaped, warped thing, which coming off of the PS4 and PS4 Pro, which were like pretty clean and boxy, it was very, very different. Personally, I like the design of the Xbox Series X more. I just like the way it looks, and I just like it. I like it. But I'm not sure if I would call the PlayStation 5 an eyesore, but I guess to each their own. Stefan, thank you for the super chat. Long time no super chat. You've been on a roll lately. Keep up the good work. Peace out. Thank you, my friend. Glad to have you here. And Super Donut, I'll catch up on the others too, guys. Is this going to compete with other consoles like PS5 and Switch 2? I don't think so, because it seems like it's just a different beast. But maybe, well, I guess maybe they'll get into it, but if it's targeting 4K 60, you know, it might be in the same family as like an Xbox Series S or a little higher tier Series S, something like that, roughly in that ballpark of performance, but in this form factor, and it can play all of your Steam games. That makes it a little bit more compelling. Like this, I think really should terrify, like, you know, Xbox over the Series S. I mean, it's not like they were selling any to begin with, but this, I think, pretty much completely makes the Series S obsolete, because I mean, you could get the Steam library. I mean, it's like crazy. Not even on the same ballpark. The Dream Manifestor, thank you for the 279. New Steam hardware announced. Yes, indeed. And Jack, thank you for that 16-month re-up. Steam frame, Steam machine, Steam controller. Hells yeah. Dragon Killer also, real quick, thank you for the resub. Hey, Luke, glad to be able to catch you live again. First, you were sick, and I cannot handle listening to someone long while they are sick. Then I got sick, and I finally got over it. How have you been? I'm doing much, much better. My voice is still like a little funky, but much, much better. My wife now has the sickness, but she hasn't lost her voice. She hasn't. I'm starting to suspect maybe it was like a variant of COVID or something, because everybody we know has gotten it and been going through it. A bunch of people have like lost their voices, lost their senses of smell and taste and stuff. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something totally separate and different, but it hit us hard. Hit us like a bundle of bricks. Yeah, it was crazy. Amazingly though, my kids totally fine. Lockie got like a little stuffy nose, totally fine. Ori's chilling. You know, for them, they're like, I don't know, suck it up, Dad. Like, for them, it just did not affect them, which is crazy. Let's see. The original Steam Machine looked like, okay, I just read that. Valve engineer Jeff Mucha, I don't know, says the design came out of thermal efficiency, acoustics, and making sure it would fit within 6-inch shelving unit. The fact it ended up as a cube, Valve's favorite shape, came later. When we started putting a thermal architecture together that was the most efficient for performance, we found that, wow, this is really close to a cube. And so we're like, okay, so it's so cute, close to a cube. Why don't we really try to make it an actual cube? And they did it. I do like the cube. I'm gonna be real. Maybe this is just me being a kind of a boomer at heart, but I there's something so clean about it, you know? I really like clean, simple design. I don't need it to have like wings. I don't need it to have feathers. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this, you know? I think so. I'm okay with it. They continue. So we had to be really careful about every millimeter inside to make sure that we got proportions to look like a cube. It's smaller than it looks, but it packs a lot in. You remove the outer casing for a demonstration and the internal components, take advantage of every square inch of it. The power supply sits down at the bottom with the front and rear IO on each side. I mean, that's the whole thing. Look at that. That's crazy. Yeah, there's the fan. These are the ports on the back of it. It is packed in there, dude. We just wanted something that is really compact and really powerful that can easily fit in your living room. And that actually turned out to be more of a challenge than we thought, because people love to kind of cram their devices in the corner of their room and inside a cabinet. So one, it needed to fit. Two, it needed to have great airflow. And one of the things that were actually really important to us is we wanted to use a single fan. It's actually a custom design fan. We iterated a lot on a ton of blade geometries, but this is what they settled on. I will say, having worked at Best Buy, people would come in all the time and they're like, I just bought a brand new console. I bought a PS4 Pro and it is overheating constantly. It turns itself off. It gets so hot. And I'm not joking, like 85% of the time you ask them, is it in your media center under your TV? Yeah. Does your media center have a door? Yeah. How did you know that? Is the door closed when you're playing games? And then a weird look would overcome them. And for a brief moment, it looks as though they're thinking. And they realize that they've basically just created a small oven to cook their consoles. And they get embarrassed and they say, no, of course I open it. Closing it would be stupid. And you see them kind of look off, realizing that they are, in fact, stupid. And they leave. Happen constantly. And if you're listening to this right now and you're like looking down, maybe you have the stream up on your phone and you're looking down at your media center and your console is behind a closed door. Open it. Open the door. Your console will thank you. Heat is a great thing. Consoles don't like it. Okay, open it. Let it breathe, baby. Let it breathe. A lot of the really, really high-end media centers we had like literal fans built into the back of it. It was kind of cool. Like I remember there was this one. It was like a $10,000 media center. Horribly overpriced, but like literally, it was very, very cool because it was a media center where, like, you know, you look at it and it's got like kind of a cool wavy design on the bottom and it goes over kind of like that. But on the sides of it, so if this is just the big rectangle, on the back, there were like these cutouts and they had fans that were like designed and engineered to be silent because they were all asymmetric blades and stuff. So their own audio waveforms would like cancel each other out. Very cool. And on the sides, they had a bunch of like cut in vents and stuff for the air to get sucked in, blow through, and then blow out the back. It was genuinely really, really cool. And the idea was you could have your Blu-ray, you could have your consoles, you could have all of that inside the unit, close the doors, and it would be okay. But unless you're spending a lot of money on a custom media center, open the doors. Did I get it? No. We had a great employee discount back in the day, but only on select things and usually stuff that they had high margins on. Those we did not have higher margins on. So I think it was like a $10,000 media center and we could buy it for like $9,500. You know, like it was It was like, it did not make sense. I never sold a single one of those to anybody when I worked at Magnolia home theater. And because it was one of those things where it's like, you could spend $10,000 on this, or you could buy like a $300 media center and cut some holes in it. You do that. You do that too. That work. That could work. You get it? You get it? I didn't get the joke. Is that a reference? Is that a reference to the king snake? It might be. You get it? I don't know. Anyway, continuing. This is actually a custom design fan. I read that one. The design reminds me of a server rack, which are often meticulously designed to ensure a steady flow of air over hot components. I'm told Valve took inspiration from here too, though what stands out most of all is how little I can hear the Steam Machine while it's running. We're stood around the Steam Machine discussing it while it sits on Cyberpunk's 2077 title screen, and I can't make it out. There are 4 antennae on the Steam Machine, 2 on the back, 2 on the front. The rear-facing antenna is responsible for the Wi-Fi 6E connectivity. 1 in the front is for Bluetooth. Separated from the Wi-Fi are more consistent performance, and the others for connecting up to 4 Steam controllers, replacing the controllers included puck. That's crazy. Oh, are they allowing you to replace? Oh, that's cool. This is actually kind of cool. The faceplate is removable, mainly for removing dust that builds up over time, though Valve is considering how to best offer some level of customization here. It has a few prototype plates in its office, a wood effect one, TFT, or Team Fortress 2 one, and one including an e-ink display for monitoring key metrics. Dude, that's cool. That's unironically cool. I like this. So if they end up selling this, it is an e-ink display where on the front of it, you could have it display GPU temps, fan speeds. You could have it display the time of day. So it could like actually have just even a clock or the weather in your area. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. If they sold this, I mean, I'm telling you guys, I don't know how much they're going to charge for this. Maybe they say later in the article. But if they charge, I don't know, $400 or $500 for the Steam Machine, and then it's like even $100 upgrade for this, I think people still buy it. I think so. That's genuinely really cool. That's cute. That's pretty cool. The e-ink display. Please make that a thing. Please. Okay, so for now, Valve doesn't seem to have a definitive plan for customization options. It does have the integrated light strip running above the front I/O. This can be adjusted to display whichever color you want, or moreover, act as a visual cue of what the Steam Machine is up to. It can display how far a game is downloaded, progressed, alert you to messages, and so on. If you don't like it, you can just turn it off. So you could even set it up to like you're downloading a game and then this charges up and fills up as it's downloading. So you could start downloading, switch to a TV show or something while this sits on your media center, and you could see when it's downloaded the game based on the LED progress bar. That's just cool. That's clever. That's clever. I love practical stuff like that. You're such a boomer. I know. Look at the lights. But come on, that's pretty cool. Let's see. It's a dead front design, meaning that when you turn it off, you literally can't see that it exists. The core parts that we're considering to be upgradable would be the M.2 storage as well as the RAM, which is a bit harder. I mean, yeah, adding customizable M.2 SSD. Look at that. Yeah, it's just on the bottom. You just unscrew it, you swap it out. You can do a full-size one or the mini. But yeah, that's great. Because the micro SD cards are like, they're good for some stuff. They're very, very, very bad for others. Like the micro SD cards, it's cheap. You can get a lot of storage very easily, but the read speeds start to plummet after a sustained draw on them. So having an NVMe SSD upgraded would be very, very nice. Let's see. So it supports the standard 2280 drive with included standoff, though installing one would require removing the existing 2230 drive and cloning, starting fresh. Okay, hopefully they can streamline that. The easier way to expand the Steam Machine storage is to use a micro SD card. It supports SDXC cards, which are typically available up to 2 terabytes and are fairly affordable. They're confident the game should boot and run just fine from a micro SD card, though I'd assume you'll want reasonably a speedy one of 100 megabytes per second for the best performance. The Steam Machine has 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. It uses SODIMM memory, which is most often found on gaming laptops and is replaceable. However, Valve has warned me that replacing the memory is a bit more involved compared to the SSD. I believe replacing the RAM would require removing the outer casing and the heatsink from the motherboard, though understandably, no one fancied ripping apart their precious display models during my visit, and we were told to leave our screwdrivers at the door, so I can't say for sure. The outer casting is removed via 4 screws on the feet and 2 screws on the rear, and the core slides out, but beyond that, it's anyone's guess. That makes sense. This is what it looks like when you're actually running it. Very, very reminiscent of the Steam Deck. Poor soul has put 230 hours into Destiny 2. Can't get those back. Can't get those back. Tell you what. It's okay. I'm sure Destiny 2 is very, very good years ago. Now, less so, but anyway. We knew that our customers love the SteamOS experience with Steam Deck, and we just want to give them the same convenience in a different form factor, which I've been hoping for personally. And like, I got the Steam Deck at launch, and it was okay. Like, I'm not going to be a revisionist, you know, whatever, where like everything was great and fine and dandy. When it first launched, it was clunky. Like, games didn't run that great. The software wasn't that fluid. You would try to download something and then it would just randomly stop. And like the wrapper to actually run games wasn't that efficient, so performance wasn't great. But then I went away and I played on my ROG Ally for a while. I came back like 6 months or 10 months or whatever it was later, and they had made so many improvements to the Steam OS and to everything just in the package. It was night and day. Like, seriously, Steam Deck is now, as far as I'm concerned, it is the completion and the fulfillment of that vision. They did a fantastic job with it. And knowing that they can take those improvements and just bring them to this machine as well is really, really appealing, really encouraging. We knew that our customers, I just read that, they'll find no surprise when it comes to Steam Machine. It's the same experience, menus, and all, though the Steam Machine shouldn't require a verification program like the Steam Decks or newly announced Steam Frame, which exists to ease gamers into what's possible on the quirkier hardware and what's not. The more powerful desktop PC that is the Steam Machine shouldn't be so picky. Part of that is Proton, the compatibility layer that allows games developed for Windows to run on Linux. Proton's compatibility is solid these days. The kinks have largely been ironed out, and the concept has been tested thoroughly with the Steam Deck already. There are simply fewer unknowns. Proton is really the secret sauce, right? That's made this possible. For the last 10 years, we've been working on building the compatibility layer to make it so that devs have less work to do to support this device. They've done a great job of it. Because of this, most games should work without a hitch. There are still some anti-cheat solutions that do not run on Linux. Games like Battlefield 6 and Fortnite, that wasn't such an issue with the Steam Deck, portable and underpowered as it is, but you might want your desktop or living room PC to play these games. So it's worth considering how much these big multiplayer games mean to you. That is like the one big thing that they struggle with, are those anti-cheats. It will be available in the same regions where the Steam Deck currently are available, including those where Komodo is the official distributor. That means it's available in the US, Canada, UK, Germany, France, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. No word on pricing, it seems, but that is what we're looking like over there. And beyond that, what else do they have? Well, beyond that, they also have the Steam controller, which is the other device that's pairing with the headset and with the Steam Machine. It is the Steam controller, as you can see here, very much inspired by the Steam Deck as well. Chunky as all get out, 35 hours of charge, releases next year, HD haptics, 2 trackpads, 4 rear grip buttons, Bluetooth 2.4 gigahertz connectivity. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah, I love these things. I love the paddle buttons on the back. I love that. Okay. Then it's got the little charging pad, so you can, I guess, technically wirelessly charge. You just set it on the charger. You don't need to manually plug it in, even though the charger is plugged in, but whatever. And I personally like this a lot more than the the old school, whatever they called this Steam controller. But yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. So there you go. There you go. I think this could be another easy slam dunk for them. Like, I think this could easily be a slam dunk for them. I think this, at least from what I understand, it sounds like it's pretty much like a Series S competitor in terms of power, but it's a tighter form factor and it will just support all of your Steam library. And as a result of that, you can also get it running like Xbox Game Pass. So all of those Game Pass games on PC, you'll be able to get access to here. So I think like at this point, when this comes out, I think the Series S is like kind of done for at that point. Pricing, of course, is still to be disclosed. It will be available to buy at some point next year. Still no pricing disclosed either. But I mean, I'm assuming it's probably in that like $400, $500 range would be my guess. And if it's in that range, I think it starts certainly to compete with the Series S. If they can get it even cheaper, that'd be crazy. That'd be absolutely insane. I don't know. Because if it's able to outperform the Series S, then I think, you know, it being a little pricier could work. If it comes out and it's like $1,000, obviously, like, I don't think that works. I think then you're just going to go buy and build like a custom mini PC and just put that next to your TV. But if it's like $400 or like $350 or something, then I think these things fly off the shelves. You'll see a lot of people buying them. I know I'd put it up, like hook up a TV in the bedroom, put it there. You can just pick up your Steam games where you left off. One of the other super powerful things for the Steam Deck specifically that I've run into and other people have done too is the GeForce Now support. And that's something you could easily do with this. So even if it's not capable of rendering at 4K 60, if you have good internet, you could hook this up to your TV and then have one package to play your Steam games. And then for really high fidelity stuff, you could run it through GeForce Now. Like, there's definitely options. Some TVs support GeForce Now, don't get me wrong, but certainly a less fluid package than a dedicated gaming device. If it's outperforming for a close enough price, it could could be sold a lot. But if many people might not consider it because it's not a black box you plug into your TV. I mean, my understanding is that the goal is for it to be the black box you plug into your TV and that it just works. Like the reason why the Steam Deck is so appealing over like a Legion Go or obviously they have the Steam OS variant, but the reason why it's more appealing than like an ROG Ally, for example, is because the ROG Ally is just running Windows. Like, it's a weirdly shaped gaming laptop, basically. And that's very nice for some people because, like, oh, I want the Ubisoft launcher. You just swipe up from the bottom to get the Windows tray, and then you click on the Uplay launcher and you boot up the game from there on your little handheld device. And it works great in that regard. You suffer performance degradation as a result of that, and it's also less intuitive. The updates are way more of a hassle, and so there's drawbacks. On the Steam Deck, however, on the flip side, it's just literally a handheld device. You press the power button, it has your library, you click on the game you want to play, and you play it. Like, it just works, right? It just works. What GPU can you compare it with? Well, like they said, there's not really a one-to-one. It's a semi-custom GPU, so it's something in the line of the Radeon 7000 series on the lower end, but there's not really a one-to-one comparison. There's just not. So we don't know. But this is what the headset looks like, the controller, and then the device itself. Yeah, I mean, I think that this, assuming the price is not insane, this could be a slam dunk. And the Steam Deck, again, like, the Steam Deck is not an egregiously priced product either. Like, this product starts at $400 and is a handheld gaming device that, like, is out competing a lot of the other handhelds in the market. So the Steam Deck is way cheaper than I would have pegged it coming in from, especially when you compare it to some of the other devices that, like, you know, Microsoft partners with ROG and theirs are significantly more expensive on the premium tier. So they might come in and sit it at like $400-$500. I think that could be a decent spot where PC gamers would be happy. Checking that out for the convenience factor. Anything more than that, I think you start to lose people, but at least for the power as we understand it. But if they continue to rev it up and it does get to the point where it can run like a 4K 60 game like smoothly with upscaling, but it can run it smoothly, then I think, you might have a more compelling argument. But yeah. Is the box looking big enough for upgradability? Like they said, the box will have the ability to upgrade the NVMe SSD and then potentially also the RAM, but you'll have to kind of take the whole thing apart to replace the RAM. But it's not one of those things where like, oh, I'll just swap out the GPU. That's not how that works. It won't work like that. Okay. How many fires do you think Phil Spencer is putting out right now? It says, I can't read. Anti-Parzival with 6 months. Thank you. How many fires do you think he's putting out because of this? This could be the living room PC you talked about. Well, it certainly seems to be hitting the market like a year to year and a half before the Xbox One is, because the whole point is that the next gen Xbox is supposed to be kind of this. It's supposed to be a hybrid of a console and a PC. And this is just, this is that. So I'm sure he's sweating bullets right now, because if everybody gets pretty deep into the Valve ecosystem, there's less reason to swap it up and go with the Xbox One besides just raw power. Now, if Xbox is able to come out with like an $800 console that is basically this, but it's got the equivalent power of like a 4080 or something, then we're talking. Then I think people will buy it and are very, very interested. Most likely it's closer to like $1,200 though. And so I'm sure he's sweating. I'm sure he's sweating a little bit, but when you've been sweating nonstop for 3 years because everything's going poorly, I'm sure you just get used to it. So for him, it's probably, it's probably not a big deal. Probably not a big deal. Let's see. Eli5, why does Steam struggle with the anti-cheat games? The 53 nice thing for the 7. My understanding is that because Linux is a separate operating system from Windows, and these anti-cheat systems, they want to get down as deep into the foundations of the operating system as they can to track activities and make sure you're not using cheats that go very, very deep into the OS. The anti-cheats, if they're not built with support for Linux, if they're not built for support for this other operating system, they just don't really work. And so when you have a Steam machine like this and it's running Steam OS, and then it's running a layer of software that converts the Windows software down into something Linux can handle, including trying to convert the anti-cheat into something Linux can handle, it just doesn't work, because the anti-cheat's like, nope, you can't mess with me, you can't do that, and it freaks out. So it just, unless the anti-cheat was developed and built out specifically for SteamOS, it's just not really gonna work. It's just not gonna work. Easy Anti-Cheat has support for Linux. Devs just don't bother. Well, I mean, I'm sure comparatively it's a very, very small number of people that are trying to play Battlefield 6 on Linux. This could change it, because it's basically a console. This could push them to put more effort into it. But right now, like, how many people are going to try to grind out Battlefield 6 on a Steam Deck? Like, probably not a ton, which is part of the reason they can do it. But the alternative would be to like get an ROG Ally. Maybe that's what they're going to tell you. It's like, if you really want to play those games on the go, get a Windows-based handheld. Go with an ROG Ally. Which, fair. If it's part of the consideration when you're shopping for these types of products. It's like, there's certain pros and cons of the streamlined, closed ecosystem, and there's disadvantages to it as well. And maybe for your particular use case and the games you play, it just makes more sense to go with the Windows-based device. Who knows? Let's see. Lord Chut, thank you for the 17 months. 17 months requires 17 candles lit. Thank you for being my work entertainment. You help make my days Go quicker. Love being a part of this community. Love you being part of this community. Thank you, my friend. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. 17 months. Time flies when you're having fun. Ooh, baby. Thank you. Jack with the 5. Thank you for that. Should have made it a dodecahedron. A dodecahedron console actually would go hard. Not gonna lie. That sounds baller. It sounds baller. Will the controller and headphones work on PC, or is it exclusively a Cube thing, asks Dragon Killer on Twitch. My understanding is that it's just a Bluetooth device. It's a Bluetooth controller. So you can just connect it. And then it sounds like it also has a dongle that you can plug into a USB port. And you could just use it on your PC as well. So I think it's going to work just fine either way. If you just want the controller, you can do that. Let's see. Stefan, thank you for that one. PS5 was weird at first, but since it's not a portable, it eventually won't matter. I see it more like an art piece now. Yeah. I think it can look cool. I'm frustrated that it's just so it's just clumsy, you know. It's weirdly shaped. You can't set, like, one of the old school things we did as kids. You get the game out, you open the case, you take the game out, you put the game in, you close the case, you put the case on top of the console so that you remember to put the disc into that case. The case is there. When you take the game out, you put it back in that case. With the PS5, like, you do that, it slides back deep into the recesses of the media center. Gone forever. That case is gone. You have to, like, reach around, try to grab it. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Give me a flat top. That's what I need. A flat top on my console. With the Xbox, you turn the console sideways on the little rubber feet it has. It's great. Set the thing up there. It works great. Works great. You know. But Luke, everybody buys their games digitally. Yeah, I guess. You know, I always insert the discs the wrong way on the PS5. I guess honestly, I've not had that problem, but it's because I lay all my consoles flat. I don't do the vertical thing, but if they were vertical, I could see doing that constantly. I could see that happening constantly. Yeah, Melissa, exactly. The good old reach around. You drop the case behind that console and then you reach around and somehow it got tangled into the cables. You're like, how did it get under the cables? It fell back just now. I didn't plug in the cables after, but you have to, like, then weirdly pull it out around the cables. It's like, it's a whole thing. It's like, tell me the engineers of this thing don't have cable management problems like normal people. I'm sure their stuff is all very cleanly zip tied and it's super pristine and it's great. Normal people aren't like that, okay? Normal people, their consoles look like a rat's nest, okay? Indistinguishable. I'm going to show you that. It's insane. Sonicism. Thank you for the 5. Do you think they can eventually pull Mass Effect 5 off? 1 to 3 were seminal moments in my life. They are doubling down on it. They say that they're doing it. They're not giving up on it. They're going to do it. I'm optimistic, you know. I don't want it to suck, but as I've said before, there's not many studios that make masterpieces after a flop. Usually it's the flop and then they start to recover and they build it back up. Or like they have the flop and then they work for years to fix the flop and then they show they still got it and then they go on to make another great game. In the case of BioWare, they've had 3 catastrophic flops back to back to back. And it just doesn't work. I mean, the fact that they exist at all and have not been shut down is magnificent. It's amazing because no other studio would still exist if they were so consistently bad at producing market hits. But yeah, I guess time will tell. Time will tell what happens. But I think they are on very thin ice, and we'll see. I would not get my hopes up. Okay, I would not get my hopes up. That's all I will say. Okay, I read that one. Okay, I'm caught up there. Booyah. Real quick, just to show you, I know you all have been hoping, just a couple quick updates. These are some of the things I was going to share before we got into it, but you know, we'll do it this way. Okay. So I know a lot of you guys have been wondering where like the PlayStation exclusives are. Luke, where is Insomniac? Where is Santa Monica Studio? Where is Naughty Dog? Where are these big, great games in these major IP that we've been clamoring for? It seems like the last few years, it's just been so quiet. Well, one was revealed, my friends. One was revealed. I have a trailer for you. You probably missed it because it just happened, okay? It's a great day. Insomniac and... They are releasing a mobile game, a Ratchet and Clank mobile game. And you want to know what's really kind of upsetting about all this? Like, yeah, they have a partner developer. It probably didn't take away that much from anything else. They are still working on Wolverine, and I'm sure Wolverine will be great. Like, yeah, there's all that. But you know what's like kind of really frustrating? Is that this probably will end up making more money than Spider-Man 2. This probably, unironically, will be more profitable than Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 sold a ton of copies, but given 30% to Marvel and having a $300 million development budget, it's tough to turn a profit with that. And this unironically probably will make more profit, not more revenue, maybe more revenue, but more profit than some of those biggest games that they've ever put out. But that's just how mobile is. Mobile gamers, they just print money, dude. They just do. So they revealed this. Jeff posted this. And yeah, I mean, the reactions are exactly what you'd expect. But yeah, it's just, and there you go. There you go. I'm sure it'll find an audience. It'll probably do really well. I just thought that was funny. You know what's also funny? This. Let me show you this, okay? New mini sort of segment. So what is one of the biggest games of this year? Like a fantastically successful game that sold 10 million copies in its first month. 10 million copies. Absolutely insane. However, as the months went by, there were more and more technical problems introduced. It started running worse and worse, and it just was glitchy, and performance was terrible, and the game didn't look particularly good. Content ran out quickly. Of course, I'm talking about Monster Hunter Wilds, okay? Even now, recent reviews are mostly negative. And Capcom has had earnings calls where they have called the sales of the game since its launch soft. It did sell 10 million copies in its first month, but in the 6 months or so after that, it has sold like 500,000, like 500,000 copies. Like seriously, the graph of sales for Monster Hunter Wild is like crazy. It's like no launch, launch day, and then it just plummets down, and it's like doing okay. But it's because word of mouth is so negative with the overwhelmingly or mostly negative reviews, depending on your language, that it's just not something people are investing money into. So you would expect Capcom would see this feedback and would be like, we need to take it up a notch. We need to figure this out. We need to put all of our resources into patching it and improving it. Well, months have gone by and nothing. It's still broken. In some cases, people are reporting that the game runs even worse than it did before, that with more and more updates, it actually consistently underperforms and gets even more sluggish. It crashes at random times. Certain monster hunts can't be completed in co-op anymore because it glitches out constantly, things like that. Well, Capcom has listened to the feedback. And I'm happy to say they actually have listened to the feedback and they are giving players exactly what they want. They're bringing KFC into the game. They're teaming up with KFC for exclusive in-game items. You can now get these little trinkets and chicken bucket charms in the game. Which I'll grant you, they're pretty cute. He's wearing a little outfit. He even has a little cane and a little mustache and goatee. Pretty cute. But this isn't really what we needed. You know, like feels a little out of touch, but you know what? Whatever. So there you go. Naturally, people are memeing on it and teasing it, but this is just 2025, ladies and gents. 2025s. It's like, oh, the game's broken. You're upset about that. Here's an adorable cat wearing a Southern plantation owner's outfit. There you go. I'm not saying that the Colonel was a plantation owner. I don't actually know anything about him, but it looks like a plantation owner's outfit. Okay. It just does. Got a little tie, the white suit. I figure if you wear a lot of white clothing, you're rich. Cause like who else does that? Who else does that? You know, that's it. Only getting Popeyes. Dude, Popeyes is so good. So good. Anyway, so there you go. If you were hoping for a Monster Hunter update that fixes the game, you'll need to wait a little bit longer, but you can get this. So there you go. Customers who order their meal through KFC online in Japan will also be entered into winning a lottery, with 20 winning a hoodie that says "It's finger lickin' wild" on it. Wow. And 200 will win travel card holders with feline Colonel Sanders design on it. Okay. Cool. Both sets come in standard meals, 2 pieces of chicken and a biscuit, small fries. Larger meals will include an extra piece of chicken and collaboration sticker sheet too. So there you go. It will take place from November 19th to December 16th. The collaboration will see KFC getting special food packaging, which shows the feline partner character from Monster Hunter Wilds dressed as Colonel Sanders and eating chicken. This is where the effort's going. There you go. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Oh my. Anyway, Sony also, speaking of new hardware, Sony did reveal a new monitor that they have, apparently. A special PlayStation monitor with a swing down hook to charge your controller. 27-inch Quad HD, 240 hertz. This feels weird to me. Instead of it being a 4K display at like 120 hertz, are there any PlayStation games like that can even do that? You see, it says supports a refresh rate of up to 120 hertz when connected to a PS5 console. Design and specifications are subject to change, so they may still change it. It just seems weird. It seems like a weird choice for the display. If this is mainly targeting PlayStation gamers, PlayStation has been pushing like 4K 60 with performance mode, Quad HD, a performance mode as well. But I don't think there's even a single game on PlayStation 5 that can do 240 hertz. And I get it. It's meant to also be used with your PC. Maybe it's a secondary monitor on your PC. And maybe this is like your gaming monitor, your core gaming monitor, if you're a controller player. Okay, maybe. Just seems weird. And if you don't know, most gaming monitors share panels. So like the monitor I have in front of me is the same panel as like 6 other monitors on the market from all different brands. They're manufactured by like LG or Samsung, and they just put the panel in a different packaging and casing and put some other bells and whistles on it and call it a different monitor. But they all share like the same panels basically. If it's like a 4K 120 hertz panel at this size and it's OLED, it's probably the exact same panel as the other brand's monitor that has the same specs. It's just a different packaging. So for this, I'm guessing it's just like another Samsung panel, and it's just kind of the same exact thing. It's just a different packaging. So if you really, really want a swing down hook to charge your controller, if that's worth the premium you're paying, go for it, I guess. But I would bet you pretty good money that there's going to be other better bang for the buck monitors out there on the market. But that's the thing. So there you go. There you go. Should we watch? Should we check out like Crash Out? Probably, right? It's not even really a crash out. That makes it sound bad. And that's not really what this is. It wasn't bad. I thought it was very good. Oh, I got to show you this. This is stupid as hell. Look at this. Look at this. You know what's... I'm going to try to fish it out of you. News, Emmett. What is a game from, I believe it was the late 2000s, that's irreverent, that's unapologetically anti-PC, that you probably couldn't make today or make a sequel of? What is a game that is just a perfect microcosm of that era of game development, produced by one of the most successful developers and publishers in the industry, that people have been clamoring for a sequel to? L.A. Rick got it. L.A. Rick got it. Bully. Well, guys, what would you say if I told you that there is a spiritual successor to Bully coming out? And I'm not being sarcastic. This is very serious. What I'm about to show you definitely looks really, really good and not bad. What would you say if I told you there was something like that coming? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Agefield High, Rock the School official story trailer.
2 and 3 friends decided not to leave school as losers.
Good morning, everybody. This young man right here is our new student, Sam.
I'm going to make a reference. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm a psychopath for making this connection. Okay? But it's because I saw a documentary on this, and now that I've seen this, I can't unsee it, okay? He's gonna be like, Luke, why do you know this? Does the principal not look like the Green River Killer? Like just a little bit? Does he not look like vaguely like this serial killer from the 80s? I mean, I think it's a little close, doesn't it? Little, yeah, I see it. No, for sure, not really. Oh God, it's the same guy. Okay, so at least it's debatable. Anyway, continuing.
Student Sam.
There's Hale Baines, the guy who thinks college is for chumps.
Ah, you're the new guy, huh? What's up?
Axel Philly, the wannabe rock star.
I got an F in English.
And you, Sam Tatum, the new kid.
So we can have the party, but my mom cannot find out. If she does, she'll go ballistic.
They made a plan to rock the last few months at school and leave their marks as legends.
They want to indoctrinate me even more into a boring fucking life and work 9 to 5 like some sort of mindless zombie.
Fuck thinking about college, dude. We need to stick to our plan to rock the school.
But there's always something or someone getting in their way. Overbearing parents,
If you don't get into college, I'll throw you out of my damn house.
perverted teachers,
You messed with the wrong one.
nosy neighbors,
Dude, it's so bad. Real
All
quick.
Night donated £10 through Super Chat. Valve's hardware launch makes Microsoft's earlier comment about hardware make perfect sense now. They weren't crazy, they just saw what was coming.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I do think that there is a massive spot in the marketplace for an easy to use PC that appeals to console gamers, because there's a lot of console gamers who have money to burn on high-end hardware, and they would love to get access to the Steam library and everything, but they just frankly do not like the idea of building a custom PC to set up in their living room because it's too big of an investment and hassle. Investment in like time and effort and headache. Because if you've never built a PC, that sounds like quite the undertaking. Once you've done it, it's not that big of a deal. But if you've never done it, that sounds like a huge hassle. And it also, I think there's just fundamentally a difference. There's two types of gamers, and many people have said this, so I'm not trying to claim it as my idea, but there's like couch gamers and there's desk gamers. Desk gamers is like this. I've got the PC, I've got the monitor in front of me using mouse and keyboard or even controller, but I'm at a desk. There's other types that like to lounge on the couch with their bucket of popcorn and Doritos, and they vibe and chill. And sometimes there's crossover. People like doing both or whatever, but usually those are the two archetypes, you know? And if you're a couch gamer, building a PC just doesn't answer the question for you. Like, that's just not what you need, because you don't want to sit at a desk to play games. You want to lounge in your recliner and play the game on your big TV, and that's okay. But this aims to answer both, or to give something to both audiences, to give somebody sitting at their desk something that's streamlined and easy to use. And then also, if you want to play it on your couch, you can do that too. So I think it's a great idea and concept, and I think it's going to be very successful so long as the price isn't insane. Speaking of insane, let's finish this out. I'm just going to be honest. This is a prime example of the dangers of Unreal Engine 5 becoming very easy to use and accessible, because you can see like the metahumans being used. You can see some of the basic like assets you can get on the Unreal Engine store being used. Like it's very clear, but it's just surreal, is it not? Like, it just feels like it's a dream.
Aliens in the forest, in the countryside.
For me, it's the dead eyes that don't actually look anywhere. They're like just always out of focus. Makes you realize how important eyes are in a game, because if they're just off, if they're just not moving quite right, it just makes them look like this.
To mention Seth, the most popular guy at school whose life mission is to make yours miserable at best.
So you think you can move to my town? Come to my school?
Jesus Christ, is that a noose?
To make yours miserable at best.
So you think you can move to my...
He's gonna execute him? What?
My town? Come to my school? Embarrass me in
Rope
front of my
swing?
friends and ruin my party?
Sid, you have to go now. My dad's gonna kill you. I'm serious.
But that doesn't hold these guys back from trying.
Whose panties are those?
Play as Sam Tatum, who saves the day in this rule-breaking coming-of-age adventure.
Dude, the fingers aren't even wrapped around the bat.
Play as Sam Tatum, who saves the day in this rule-breaking coming-of-age adventure. Explore a fully decked-out campus and quirky small town in this open world inspired by the early 2000s teen movies.
Do you really think you're the first students to try to get into my pants this way?
Her dad brought lipstick home from his trip to Mexico, and now they all look prettier than ever.
We drink as much as we could, go streaking to the girl we liked, and then tell her how much we loved her.
Return to the early 2000s one last time. Agefield High. Rock the school.
Yeah, this is like this is one of those games that's like so bad that it might be good, you know? Like it's so insane. I also did that guy say what I think he said? It's like he looks like he's 45 years old, but he said like we're gonna get drunk and then streak to the girl we like. Yeah, he looks like 35 years old. Also, I can't. When Bethesda launches another version of Fallout and breaks all your mods. Todd. Why Todd? Why Todd?
We drink as much.
Yeah, dude, he's like 35 years old and he's gonna say something very problematic.
As we could. Go streaking to the girl we liked. And then tell her how much we loved her.
Yeah, we drink a ton, we go streaking to the girl we like, and then tell her how much we love her. Also, just the random noose is insane. Like, what? That was right up here.
So you think you can move to my town?
Yeah, like what? While he's saying, you think you can move to my town? Like what? He's gonna kill him?
Come to my school, embarrass me in front of my friends, and ruin my party?
Sam, you have to go now.
I don't know, man. This was posted on IGN's official page. Bully, Dollar Tree Edition. This is going to be the closest thing to Bully 2 in our lifetime. The quality of this game doesn't look so good, but I've been waiting for Bully 2 so long I don't even care anymore. It may not be Bully 2, but I'll take it. The narration sounds like it's straight out of ChatGPT. I think most of it is, honestly. They should let this bake in the oven a little while longer. I believe it could be a true gem. This looks like one of those games you'd see in a movie for an actor to pretend they're playing a video game. Quality of one of those adult visual novel games, though. Hey, I'll give it a shot. Man, I just can't. Great value, Bully 2. Yep. So there you go. I thought I'd share that with you because I saw it and then it corrupted my brain, and now I needed to share it with you. So you can suffer as well. There you go. There you go. Okay. Let me show you something, okay? Let me show you something. Here. Okay. News I met. The smiles look like Vin Diesel Brasileiro meme. Now I need to look that up because I'm not sure what that meme is. Hold on. Oh my God, it does totally look like him. That's funny. It does totally look like that. My mom played pool with the Green River Killer in a bar once before he was caught. What? Jack? What? I feel like you can't just casually drop in a $5 super chat that your mom played pool with a serial killer before he was caught. What? Wow. She recognized his mugshot. Especially, I mean, I imagine if you're in that community and like you're around like a relatively small town area on the outskirts of a big city, like you probably do know people. Did she win? I guess, yeah, that's the main question. Name the serial killer or fake AF. Oh, well, we just talked about the serial killer, because I thought one of the guys in the trailer looked like him. It was the Green River Killer, and his name was what is his name? It's probably good I can't remember. It doesn't really deserve to be remembered, but something, I don't know. What, you've never chilled with a serial Ridgway? There it is, Gary Ridgway. Let's see. Can GTA 6 bring hype for a midnight release? Yeah, it could. It just depends on whether they actually like do a traditional midnight release. My suspicion for a long time has been that they're going to do a digital only launch like a week before the physical launch because they don't want to risk leaks. So my guess is that the physical launch, they might do a midnight release of it, and there will be people waiting for it, but I think the game will have already been out by that point. That'd be my guess. Let's see. I read that one. Krieg Zeus says with a $2 super chat, that trailer actually ruined my day. Mine too. So I decided to share it with you. Destai, thank you for the sub with Prime, by the way. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay. Let's do this. News Emma. So we all know, I gotta light the candle. We all know how dreadful that Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition was. Dreadful. We tried playing it on stream. Many of you guys were here for that. It literally crashed my PC. Wouldn't load. It was so glitched that people who even bought the Anniversary Edition for $40 for the full upgrade, they couldn't even get their paid mods to redeem in the game because it was broken. Bethesda did eventually acknowledge it. So as you can see here, on their Discord server, this is 2 days ago, they say that they dropped the ball. Jessica Page said at 11:30 a.m. that morning, "Thank you for your patience while we worked on the Fallout 4 Creations menu. Access to the menu has resumed." Basically, my understanding is that at some point that morning that they launched it, the menu was breaking so much that they decided to just shut it down. So you couldn't even open the Creations menu for the stuff you bought. They just shut it down, and then they reactivated it later once things had settled down a little bit. They say, "We are actively investigating an issue affecting the delivery of Creation Club content after purchasing the Creations Bundle or Anniversary Edition. Currently, there may be a delay between completing your purchase and seeing the content marked as owned in your account. We expect to resolve this as soon as possible. Please keep an eye here and on our Bethesda support article for ongoing updates." Fam. Like literally you had one job. This is like literally the one thing in this update was the paid mods, and they didn't work. They also, when they announced this update through the Xbox marketing, they had they pitched it and pushed it as like something everybody was super excited for, but it just ended up being a total disaster. For example, the same individual, Jessica Page, updated yesterday saying, "We discovered the cause for an issue some players were experiencing where content they bought recently was no longer being recognized as owned. So initially you would buy it and the game would take a while to update and show you as owning it. But then it was updated and they revealed another bug, which was that it would show it as owned, but then later no longer recognize it. So whatever. PlayStation has also apparently been giving out refunds for the Creations Bundle without really any resistance reportedly. And that is because there's also a good number of items in the paid mods package that are just not supported or given on PlayStation. It's kind of ridiculous. Now, somebody I've followed for ages, who makes really good content and has historically been focused on Bethesda stuff, has been Mr. Matty Plays. And Matty has historically been more maybe optimistic. I was going to say forgiving, but I think forgiving is probably not the right word. More optimistic. Like, I think he often looks at the glass as half full when I look at it as being half full of piss, you know? And I think that can be very useful to be able to look at things and be like optimistic about it. But with this update, like, it's getting to the point where even some of the most hardcore Bethesda fans have just had enough. I'll just play the first like 30 seconds of his video discussing this. Okay. The title, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, is legit insulting.
No intro. Let's do this. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. Bethesda was really quiet about it, and now we know why. The pricing is egregious. This thing still has a lot of issues. The new content's not really good. You can see a big difference between the new creations and the old creations. Part of the problem with this new batch is also that, like, all the old creations Bethesda's having you pay for aren't nearly as good as like something we got with Skyrim Anniversary Edition. And so I sat down and spent my day playing this, and I got a lot of nostalgia for Fallout 4. It's not a perfect game by any means, although there was a time I may have claimed that, but it's not. But it's definitely a game I have a lot of great memories with, and I do like firing it up. Anytime I get an excuse to fire it up, like last year with the Next Gen update, you know, obviously Bethesda screwing up the entire game aside, it was just still like one of those things where the emotion takes over a little bit. It's nice to go back. This is like the first time in my life where I fired up Fallout 4 and just got pissed off, dude. Like, I just am so tired of watching what I view as my favorite franchise in anything, all of entertainment, just being treated like shit. It's saddening. So let's break it down, because obviously I don't think you should go out and do what I did today, but it was one of those moments where a lot of content creators have this type of moment where you just realize like the time you spend on these things.
And he's about to say something, I think, that is very profound, okay? And it's probably something that a lot of you guys, if you're in this chat, can identify with, because I think it's happened to most of us who are here right now listening to this, okay? Listen to this.
You're like, oh, like I could have been playing something else. There's a ton of games I have on the burner right now. I'm playing like Digimon, Trails in the Sky. I'm just playing so many different games, and like I could have just been doing that. But I'm playing this, and it wasn't good. It's just one of those like radicalizing moments where you're like, what am I doing? But
I think that is so, it's the perfect word for it. It's radicalizing. It's radicalizing. It's a moment where you just go, you know what? No. You know, where you just at some point are like, screw this. What are we doing? What are we doing? And I think everybody needs to have this moment with companies that are taking advantage of them, because they will continue to take advantage of you until it's very, very clear they can't. The thing that's happened with Ubisoft in the last year or so, I mean, it's also last several years. You can look at the chart of their stock price, but for them, like, it was very clear they could not do the same thing they've always done. They couldn't rush it out. What Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, said was, we used to release games with small pieces, small moments of friction, is how he phrased it. And I remember friction, small frictions, because it was such a weird way of saying it. And basically what he was saying was like bugs and glitches and lack of optimization and things like that. He's like, games like Star Wars Outlaws launch with small frictions, and it's clear that we just can't do that in the modern marketplace. And it's like, okay, so what you're saying is you used to be able to get away with unoptimized games. You used to be able to get away with missing gameplay content, with taking this piece of content out and selling it back by doing pre-order bonuses or whatever, deluxe editions, whatever. And now you can't. Now you can't, because the audience kind of woke up, stood together, stopped spending money on it, and said enough's enough, and like made it clear that they were not okay with it. And that's what Bethesda is in desperate need of, is they are in desperate need of the community that plays their games to come together and be like, no. And it sounds so simple, but even now you will see people on their subreddit who are still coping, who are still coming up with excuses about it. Whether it's people that are, you know, posting glazing comments about what they've got in the additional content. There are some people that are calling it out. The Wanderer by Dion, removed from Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. I'm seeing multiple people saying that The Wanderer by Dion has been removed in the anniversary update for Fallout 4. Has anyone else heard this rumor? Or have you heard the song in the newest update? Can anyone confirm or deny? I'm sure they've done a lot of stuff. They've tweaked a lot of stuff, removed a lot of stuff. But in general, like, people are still broadly optimistic about it. And there's actually, I was told, haven't verified it myself because I've not tried, but I've been told that there are posts that are being removed by moderators if they are seen as being excessively negative, which is crazy, because sometimes the company deserves excessive negativity, frankly, I think. But this is no surprise. Maddie played the game, tried it himself, and found what many other people thought, and it was that it was egregiously priced and it's broken, and it conveniently breaks all of the free mods at the exact moment when they're pushing paid mods. Just a dumpster fire. But it turns out, even since I tried the the game, and since Maddie tried the game a couple days ago, there's more stuff that we were not aware of that makes it even worse somehow. And so Maddie revisited it and found some other interesting little tidbits, and so I figured I'd share those with you. And as you can see, the top comment on this follow-up video he did, as someone who has watched Maddie for years, seeing him finally rip into Bethesda for their laziness is so satisfying. And I think it's just people joke and are like, oh, Maddie's a shill or whatever. I've never thought that. I think he's an optimist, and it's the same thing like Joe Raptor, who we of course do the podcast with, and he's a good friend. Jor, I think, is an optimist when it comes to like Horizon, and when it comes in some cases to some Ubisoft stuff, he's like hardcore cutthroat with it. But like he's an optimist with those franchises because he loves those franchises. And I think it's okay to be an optimist. You know, I think it's okay to like try to look at the glass as half full when you love something. That's okay. I think that's fine. But at some point, even the most optimistic person can be broken. And what you're seeing now with Bethesda's treatment of Fallout is that even the most optimistic, the most upbeat members of their own community are like, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? And that's what this is. So let's hear what it is.
Let's do this. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition is abysmal. I hope you have not touched this piece of garbage. Just going to put it out there right away.
Bear in mind, Todd has said that he watches Maddie's channel. Granted, that was a number of years ago, but he's at least, they've done interviews together. Remember, they did that big interview right around posts, I think it was right after Starfield, I want to say. But they did the interview, like he engages with Todd. Todd has seen his stuff. Todd's aware of Maddie. I'm sure he, like, Todd at some point, I'm sure has heard and seen some of my antics with him. But I think is Todd in the room with us right now? Praise be. Everyone, praise be in chat. Praise be. Praise be. The point is, like, I rail against Bethesda a lot because I'm what I would probably consider to be a former fan. They've not done a lot recently that would make me be a fan of him. But you know, who knows if Todd's ever seen any of my stuff railing against them. But we do know that he watches Maddie and has seen Maddie's stuff and has engaged with Maddie even on a one-to-one level. So this is profound for Maddie to just straight up say,
hi, let's do this. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition is abysmal. I hope you have not touched this piece of garbage. Just going to put it out there right away.
It's pretty clear cut. It's pretty clear cut. Like I said in my attempt to try the game, and I say attempt because it was so broken I couldn't. At this point, like, Bethesda straight up should be ashamed of themselves. They are the stewards of one of the most profound and successful and biggest IP in all of gaming, really all of entertainment as well. And they have consistently botched it for going on a decade. Like, seriously, Fallout 4 is a decade old. And I thought Fallout 4, while it wasn't the game a lot of people wanted, it still was a solid game if you play it like an adventure looter shooter. You can have a lot of fun with it. But then like from Fallout 76 onward, it has just been nonstop fumble. Like, I get it. Some people like Starfield. I get it. But I think even if you like Starfield, you have to acknowledge that the reception of the game was not anywhere close to what Bethesda wanted. They can cope and seethe, and they can claim that they're actually really happy with it, and it's one of their 3 pillars like Fallout and Skyrim and all that. They can say all of that, but without a doubt, the reception has not been on that level. Player counts are not there, engagement's not there, modding support is not there. It's just not. They can lie about it. They can say that it's been a tremendous success, but demonstrably it's not. And it's just, it's so frustrating to see that they still seemingly just have no fire under their butt. They're just like, oh no, it's whatever, it's fine. It's just mismanagement at its core.
Bethesda needs to feel the heat on this one, because it's one thing to break your game after 9 years last year. It's another thing to...
I'm sorry. It's so funny that we're so used to Bethesda being incompetent that we're like, yeah, it's okay. This is really bad. And I'm saying it's really bad because it's one thing to break your game after a decade and then spend a year and a half not fixing it, which already is such an insane thing. Like, if they abandoned the game and weren't touching it at all, and then it just broke because of a Windows update or something, which happens to a lot of old games, that is one thing. But they are actively updating Fallout 4 consistently to sell you more stuff within Fallout 4. Like, they are actively working on it, and they chose not to fix it for a year and a half. Like, it is insane. Just that is insane.
Wait 18 months to do something about it. It's a completely separate subject to make that return after 18 months and make the problem worse. So rightfully, the community is taking Bethesda and now in turn Xbox to task. But the main reason I wanted to follow up here on this subject was simply because there were things that I was not aware of when I made my already scathing review on the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. Everything from the pricing of some new creations added in as part of Creation Club that are designed to completely scam you, all the way to PlayStation fans not even getting their hands on some of the new free content. This reeks of lack of preparation. And I just have to...
Well, and the old saying we've referred to a lot is never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by incompetence. But at some point, and I do think that is generally true. I do think that generally if we can look at something and be like, hey, Bethesda, like they've released this update for Fallout 4 Next Gen update and it broke ultra-wide support, it broke all these things like VATS. That's probably incompetence. But at some point, when you have such a sustained period of years of blatant, rampant incompetence with no adjustments, with no fixes, with no attempt to improve it, that then I think becomes malice. You know, it's like a malicious incompetence, which is technically a thing. If management knows there is a massive issue, if management knows that they have been mismanaging this, that it's filled with bugs, that their updates consistently break things and it takes them a year and a half to fix it, and all of this continues to stack up over years and years and years, and they choose not to fix it, that at that point becomes like weaponized and malicious incompetence. They are choosing to be incompetent. You know, at that point, I don't care. If I go to we just had this happen the other day, yesterday actually. We went to a Crumble Cookies location. My wife wanted to get some Crumble Cookies, the little mini ones, and share them with our boys. And because they'd been very good all day. And so we went to a Crumble Cookies location, and it was such a dumpster fire inside that store that it was like inexcusable. There's like a clique of like 4 or 5 probably like early college girls, and they're on their phones with customers in the building, like chatting, and they're sharing TikToks with each other. And then there's these 2 young men, probably like they looked like high schoolers, that looked so over their heads, like they had no idea what they were doing, and they're desperately trying to put cookies and stuff in the boxes and package them for all the customers and stuff, while the girls in the clique like literally do nothing. And at one point the girls are like getting up, walking outside the building to go chat with friends they have outside the building and come back in, and they're not like washing their hands between things. Like, it was actually insane. And we got on the Google page for the store, and there's a bunch of reviews saying the same exact thing for weeks. But what happens right after a negative review, they flood it with probably employee reviews of 5 stars that are like 2 words saying great cookies, 5 stars, to flush out the bad reviews and stuff. And so it's like, okay, so management is aware of the bad reviews. Management knows that there is a problem with the employees where they're not doing what they should be, and customers are dissatisfied and leaving 1-star reviews. But we're going to ask our employees to give 5-star reviews, or ask our friends to give 5-star reviews to boost the average and flush those away. Like, at that point, it's not just incompetence. The people on their phones that are not working, that's probably just incompetence. But when management then goes so far as to try and cover it up and not deal with the problem, not fix it, that then becomes malicious incompetence, and like they're choosing not to deal with it, you know. Are you describing America's workforce? I already fall into the trap of sounding like a boomer too often. Okay. What I will say is that, like when I worked at a Chick-fil-A for a summer in high school. And if any of us did anything close to what those girls did for the 25 minutes we waited for them to put 3 little cookies in a box, I would have been fired instantaneously. Like, go. Like they do. It was just pure incompetence. And it was also like snobbish, nasty, like Mean Girls energy too, where they were making like jokes and comments about the boys that were actually working. It was so gross and just disappointing. But anyway, the point is BGS, they're crumble cookies. Okay. They're crumble cookies. Anyway, the reason I bring that up with all this is that there was an argument to be made years ago, I think, that Bethesda just was incompetent, that they just had people that didn't know what they were doing, and their updates and stuff were just poorly put together because they were just bad at doing this. I think that was an argument you could make. It's been close to a decade, and this is still a problem. And I think at that point, it gets to the point of like, Todd knows this is a problem, and he doesn't care because he's still getting his paycheck. Like at that point, I think I lose the respect for Todd. You heard me. And I think they should be ashamed because this is just flatly unacceptable. BGS is Waffle House. Well, it doesn't try to kill you. BGS, like Waffle House, I feel like it's like a 30% chance you die every time you walk in.
It's one thing to break the game. It's another thing to break our spirit.
Well, I think they have sufficiently broken the spirit of even the most hardcore defenders and fans of their games. And let's be honest, the moment that Elder Scrolls 6 is revealed, a lot of this is going to be forgotten. And we will be here making videos. I'll be here making videos, doing like streams and segments talking about like, guys, remember what happened last time? Todd's describing how Elder Scrolls 6 is going to use procedural generation. This sounds like garbage, but you're falling for it. It's going to happen all over again, I'm sure. Because it happens every single time. The hype gets out of control because, as we all know, say it with me, hype makes you stupid. It puts on blinders. It makes you ignore realities that you could see with any other company or any other game. But when you're hyped up, you just start to ignore it, you know? And in the case but going back to Fallout specifically, I think people have just seen enough now. And it's so transparent that they're just doing this to try and milk TV show fans at the cost of their own fans.
Bender the Offender donated $10 through Super Chat.
Post-hype clarity.
So I just finished up the last 2 episodes of Dispatch. I won't spoil anything. All I will say is that it's his peak.
Thank you, Bender the Offender, for not spoiling. And thank you for the 10. That's very generous. And yeah, I'm very excited. I'm going to work through probably the first episode tonight with my wife. We've been playing it together. And then we'll play the finale tomorrow, I think, is the goal. I think that's going to be the strategy. Anyway, continue, Maddie. Tear Todd apart.
Ask what the point was. What do you hope to get out of this? Is this some like deliberate internal ploy to sabotage Elder Scrolls 6 by dropping Shattered Space around this time last year and now Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition? Are we just like trying to whittle away all of Bethesda's goodwill so that when Elder Scrolls 6 comes around, I'm jaded beyond belief, and even if the game is heat, I won't buy it? Like, is that what we're going for here? Because we're on the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I mean, it does start to feel like that. Like, this is Bethesda's incompetence at this point is at such a level where it does make you start to question reality. You're like, are they trying to get people to stop playing Fallout 4? Like, they are literally breaking the game so bad that a lot of people just can't play it anymore, myself included. So do they want me to not play it? Are they trying to like break their own game to force you into Fallout 76 where they can milk you for more money? Is that really what they're doing? Because it's starting to feel like it.
Gentlemen, Reddit is having a good time with Xbox marketing, which now I finally have a picture I can point to and say, hey, if you want to put Xbox marketing into a nutshell of how disconnected they are with their own product, here you go. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition's available today. Everyone liked that. Now, if it worked at the bare minimum,
like, it's so delusional to just assert everyone like that. But like this is where it starts to really feel like there's just I've said it in previous videos. It starts to feel like delusion. You know, where like Todd's perception of what the audience thinks of him and his games is so, at least what he says, is so not accurate. It makes you go like, does he seriously not know? Or is he just kind of like lying and gaslighting us? Like with the Starfield stuff, you know, where it's like, yeah, he gets asked a question. What do you say to people who didn't like the exploration loop in Starfield? Well, you know, there's some people that really, really loved Starfield, and, you know, there's other people who liked it less. You're like, what? Like, this is like self-delusion at this point. Like, you're lying to yourself, you know? What are we doing?
Dogmatic Socrates Mammalian Matricide donated $10
What
for
a
super
name.
chat. You said I in gaming won't work as I is backwards thinking. Isn't every invention backwards thinking? Nothing comes from nothing.
No, so I believe what you're referring to, thank you for the 10, very generous. I think what you're referring to is when I said and echoed what Strauss Zelnick from Take-Two Interactive said, which is that generative AI tools are by their very nature trained on existing content and materials, and then that is what they use, and using neural nets, they kind of try to connect based on the prompt with other things they've seen to stitch together something that matches what you're trying to get out of it. So by their very nature, they're derivative. They're not creative, they're derivative. And so I understand what you're saying, where you're like, everything is derivative. You know, there's no true original story. Every story's been told, every note has been sung, every melody has been written. It's just rediscovered. I've heard all of those things, and I think to a certain extent it's true that sure, everything is sort of an amalgamation of a bunch of other things. But in the context of video games and AI, at least right now, it is often quite blatant, you know, where you type in make a video game or design a video game character that's gruff and weathered, and it just straight up produces an image of Arthur Morgan, you know, where it's very clearly just copying something else and presenting it there. So I'm sure the tools will get better, and eventually they'll get to the point where you can't really distinguish, and it does start to add its own flair. Or I'm sure in the context of AI generated stuff, it's like what they would refer to as chaos, you know, it adds in its own flair and own twist to it. But as of right now, it's not very good at that. But it's certainly a debate to be had and a discussion to be had. But I think it's important to note that just by their very nature, they're derivative purely, and there's no attempt, there's no element of trying to come up with something original, which is something humans try to do. Like, these generative AI models literally cannot try to produce something original. It's not how they work. Like, that's just not how they work. Whereas humans try desperately to do that constantly. But anyway, continuing.
I'm sure we would. But Xbox showed with Redfall and those leaked internal emails from Phil Spencer thinking like Redfall would be like an 80 Metacritic game and could be one of their big exclusives of the year and do well, that they don't really interact with their own content clearly, because anyone who lays hands on Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition realizes Bethesda has made their own game, which I thought was pretty great, significantly worse over time. Not just through optics and pricing, but also just like it runs worse. That's unbelievable to me. So people,
yeah. Well, and it's what's frustrating, especially, is that it's this gaslighting that's so extra insulting, where it's like, no, it actually, we're looking at our data, and our data shows that actually performance and crash numbers are lower than ever, and the total number of players is higher than it's ever been, and so our data actually suggests that it's going really, really well. And so they're like, yeah, ignore your lying eyes and ears. Reject your reality. Substitute it with mine. You know, and Todd does it all the time too in interviews, where you're like, what are you talking about? What world are you talking about? It's the same thing that happened with Emil. Emil Pagliarulo, Todd's like right-hand man. He straight up got bullied off of X to the point where he like straight up deleted his X account and went to Blue Sky. And it was because he was making posts and did this whole chain where he was describing how, like, in a lot of ways, Starfield is the best game we've ever made and stuff like that. You're like, bro, what world do you live on? One of those 1,000 planets in Starfield? No wonder you've gone crazy. Like, what are you talking about? It is a rejection of reality. And then literally leaving the bubble where you're getting called out for being out of touch, and then you go put yourself in a separate bubble where you feel safer. Like, no wonder they don't he's not like actively engaging with criticism. He's like, I don't like that. It's like, that's why I don't think any of this is going to change with Elder Scrolls 6. I think it's just going to be more of the same. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out in 2035. Not really, it's probably coming out 2028, 2029. It's going to be bloated, it's going to be buggy, it's going to have procedural generation stuff that nobody wants, it's going to have paid mods day one, it's going to be a whole thing.
People on Reddit have had a bit of fun with this new social post. Everyone hated that. There's your 9,000 upvotes. See,
I did pull this up too, 9,000 upvotes. I pulled this one up because I also saw it, and here it is. It is now at 11,000 upvotes. And this is on the Fallout subreddit, where they've been mass downvoting other things that are critical. And so there's like two factions in the Fallout subreddit: the people who I would say are realists and can see how bad everything is, and then other people who are like the hardcore fanboys and will mass downvote anything that's critical. But even with that faction, it's still at 11,000 upvotes. People are sick of it. I updated and downloaded the cool stuff. Now the game won't even start. Awesome. When's the next update? When they send Gorillagram to your house that just kicks you in the balls. That at this point, I think would be at least more entertaining. It's crazy to me how much I used to like Bethesda and how they've done such a detailed job of betraying everything I enjoyed about them. It takes a genuine skill to F up so heavily for an entire decade and still not be out of business. I actually have a sneaking suspicion that there might be layoffs inbound at BGS, and it may or may not have something to do with the fact that a big faction of BGS just recently had a pretty major step forward with their union, which we know Microsoft doesn't tend to like. So I would not be surprised. Feel free to bookmark this. I would not be surprised if in the spring, when there's another round of layoffs, because in the spring there will be another massive round of layoffs from Microsoft. I wouldn't be surprised if BGS is among those that get some jobs cut. So just buckle up. I don't think they'll go out of business, but I do think they'll be hit. I've hit the age where I have to watch all my favorite franchises become nothing more than merchandise to be wheeled out for profit rather than any progress made with the concept, all because old guys can't seem to retire. I think it's that Todd just got a taste of paid mod money and loved it so much that now that's the entire... It's literally all of BGS. All of BGS exists now just to service paid mods. Like, that's what the entire company's become.
So yeah, people aren't pleased about this. This is not an opinion I'm expressing that's within the minority. A lot of folks are really upset across the Fallout community, and rightfully so, because the question you have to ask in all seriousness is like, if this is to celebrate Fallout 4, I don't want to know how you feel about something you don't care about, because this should be, I think, an IP you care deeply about. It certainly matters to you when it's driving a lot of money, like, oh, hey, you know, the Fallout TV show, and hey, the next gen update, and hey, 76 expansions and DLC. Like, it should matter enough, right? I guess not. And so now people are going over to Steam and rightfully leaving their thoughts in the review section on the Steam page for both the Fallout 4 Creations Bundle, which is the new one that dropped yesterday. For those who are not informed, these are all of the previous creations that were a part of Creation Club wrapped into one bundle and sold off to you. So this does not include any of the new creations that have come out, none of which, in my opinion, thus far are really anything to write home about. But at least if those were kind of rolled into the overall bundle, you might have a little bit of a leg to stand on here. But it's $20 of old junk. So yeah, it doesn't represent the new era of creations, which honestly, I don't think they did a good job doing that either. But when you go to Fallout 4's own Steam page now, people are leaving reviews on that as well. And it's not pretty. Like, people are really going after Bethesda, and there's a real...
But again, the fact that it's even mixed is just insane. Like, nobody should tolerate this, but there's still people who will. It's so frustrating.
Sentiment that's been growing since Starfield of anger. The thing that I feel as someone who's been a part of this community for half my lifetime is like how little it feels like they care. I'm sure internally things are on fire and they're like, oh my God, this is awful. But as a fan,
maybe, but like, you would think if they were panicking, that they'd be panicking in the pursuit of fixing things quickly and properly. But what do we see instead? Like, people had the same conversation with Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, where it's like, it seems like they don't care, but I'm sure internally they're frantically trying to fix it. And then it takes a year and a half for them to fix it. Almost as if they weren't panicking at all. Almost as if they actually didn't care. Because I don't think they do. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a policy within the studio where they're like, don't go on the subreddit, don't read. God, do not watch a Luke Stevens video. Whatever you do. He's mean. Like, I'm sure that there's a general vibe where it's like, don't engage with the negativity. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Focus on your work, have fun, you know, vibe. Because that's at some point, again, like, if they consistently give you the feeling like they don't care, at some point you should just believe them. You know, at some point, if they say time and time and time again that they don't really care, that they're going to keep doing whatever they're doing, you should believe them. They've been saying for years they don't see a problem, that they think that paid mods are great, that they think that their games are really successful, that they think that more fans than ever are playing with them, and there's some people that are just being negative haters and all this. Believe them. Believe them. It's why I've said for years, not really years, I've said for the last year or so that I feel as though Bethesda is slowly becoming a lol cow of the games industry. And it's because, like, they reject reality when it's inconvenient for them. They focus only on messaging they want to hear, even if it's pretty transparently not the case. They are unwilling or unable to recognize when they've made a mistake. So they're extremely arrogant and cocky as a result of it. They're just generally bad at what they do. And they are such consistent screw ups that you can almost predict with scientific accuracy that each and every new update is going to break something even worse than it was before. Performance is going to get worse. They will claim that it was a victory and that everybody loved it, and they will find a new way to milk more money out of their hardcore fans every single step of the way. Yeah, Luke doesn't hate BGS. He just loves them a little less. Exactly, Paul.
And I look at this and I go, everything since 76 has been nothing short of disastrous for you. Even Starfield's launch, for all the money it made, and even as someone who did like the game a lot, I can objectively look at the conversation that surrounded that game, and if I'm Bethesda, I still don't have a lot to feel great about.
But that's the thing is, and at some point, I've just had this moment where I'm like, you know what? I used to think, and I said, I used to say that, like, I think Bethesda is aware, but they just say this optically because Todd is a salesman. You know, Todd's a salesman. He'll spin it. You know, he does the 1-2 step, side step where, like, oh, you give him a tough question. A lot of people didn't like the exploration in Starfield. What do you have to say to those people? And then he'll sidestep it and do the little Todd sidestep and be like, oh, well, some people loved it and some people loved it a little less. Anyway, here's paid mods. Like, I used to spin it like that because I thought, no, Todd's smart. Todd, I think, is just a salesman and he's spinning it. But it's been so many years of him saying things that seem wildly out of touch and delusional. And I had this moment where I was just like, maybe he actually believes it. maybe he actually is just delusional. Maybe the people in that building are actually just that out of touch. Because compare it to the other thing, where it's like with Emil, he says something that is patently stupid. People clip it. It goes viral with YouTubers, streamers, even traditional media like PC Gamer, IGN, writing articles about it. And so what does he do? Instead of engaging with the feedback and the critique of what he said, he deletes his X account and goes to a safe space bubble.
Dogmatic Socrates Mammalian Matricide donated $10 through Super Chat.
I think they believe
I
it.
bought a 5090 and started playing AC Valhalla. I noticed the textures looked way better, then found out 5090 has eye texture upgrades.
Really?
Do you think Geometry AI will...
Do you think Geometry AI will be in the 60 series GPU? I think they've played around with it. I don't know exactly what it'll look like if it'll be ready for the 60 series, but I know that they've talked about stuff like that. I didn't know it did AI texture upgrades though. Is that something it does for all games, or is it something the devs have to specifically support? That could be cool, because I remember watching a video about the AI texture upgrades, but I didn't realize it was already like a thing. Works with all games? Really? We'll have to mess with that. That would be really cool. That's very interesting. If it just like automatically upgrades textures for you, that could be really cool, especially for older games. Because I remember seeing a tech demo where they were doing it, I think for like Half-Life 2 or something, but I didn't realize it was already a thing. That's super cool. Thank you for the $10 super chat, by the way. That's very, very generous again. But I'll have to check that out. That sounds super cool. I suggest using DLSS 3.10.42. Ooh. I'm gonna have to dig into that. Is this the first time you've ever worn a black shirt? No, this is my Concord shirt. So I wear this every once in a while. Whenever there's a big disastrous game or update to a game, I feel obligated to wear my Concord shirt.
Need a win. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition was the easiest opportunity at a win for you. Here's this thing that many of you know what it is. We're going to make it better for you. Here's a lot of new content. It is that simple. Gamers are easy to please. And I don't mean that like we're smooth brain, but like new stuff usually makes us pretty happy. Not breaking the thing we already have. So
yeah, I think it's important to remember just how insane it is that this was a layup. I mean, it's the 10th anniversary of Fallout 4. They could have done, you know what freaking KCD2 did? What Warhorse did for KCD2? They just launched Mysteria Ecclesiae, which is a fantastic DLC. Highly recommend it. Where I thought I had it pulled up in a tab. Oh, here. Fantastic DLC from a fantastic developer. And did a video on it in the main channel, but they just released this. You know what they did for the weekend leading into the DLC launch? To celebrate its success and say thank you to the audience. They made it free to play for like 4 or 5 days. Just, yeah, play the game. If you finish it all in that time, cool. Thank you for playing. If you want to support us, maybe buy it. Sure. But if you just want to play it, cool. Cool. Like, this is what, when I talked to Sir Toby, who heads up their community management and everything, what he said is that at their core, they're a studio that is community first. It's community driven. Their goal is to create a studio that's primary goal is to serve its community. They want to create games that serve the community. They want to create experiences that the community connects with, and they want to listen to the feedback and make adjustments according to that feedback. And that also means giving the community things and little gifts and knickknacks and treats and things. And just think of how fundamentally different BGS treats their fan base. Night and day. Night and day. They have a Royal Edition that includes all the DLC and everything. The game launched this year to rave reviews. Do you think they're going to do this again in 10 years? And break the game in the process? Like, it's crazy. This is crazy, but it is again the night and day difference between a company that appreciates and values and treasures their community and a company that takes their community for granted and is just trying to milk them.
reviews because Bethesda's made it worse. This gets into some of the new stuff that I was not aware of when I was making my review yesterday. One such thing is I talked about some of the free content that did come to Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. You see, with the launch of the new creations, one of them we discussed was the Tale of the Beast Hunter, which was a heavily fan service driven mod officially made by Bethesda Game Studios. And it's there you can get this kind of Fallout New Vegas fanboy style drip where you can get like the NCR helmet, the Lucky 38 jacket, you see a little Deathclaw pauldron. It's pretty nice. And I thought to myself, again, in the mess of everything happening here, I'm trying to keep a level head like, okay, this could be cool, but we kind of know what Bethesda's going for here. All right, this wasn't on PlayStation. This wasn't available. This wasn't ready to go. I mean, again, we know who this is for, and I talked about this yesterday, but I'm going to re-emphasize it, so apologies if I sound like a broken record.
It just wasn't ready for PlayStation. Like, what? They've known this anniversary was coming for ever. The 10th anniversary was known the moment the game launched. And they didn't have this prepared. Like, what? What are we doing? What are we doing? It's crazy.
Ty in Mile High donated $10 through Super Chat. Larian, Warhorse, Embark, Sandfall, versus Bethesda, EA, Activision, Bungie, greed culture, and lack of laws limiting microtransactions are killing U.S. studios.
Oh, and then it stopped. And then you said European studios, passion projects, US profit machines. Well, I'd also throw in some of these new Eastern games and developers from China, South Korea, Japan. They are going to seriously start putting, giving these companies a run for their money. And the good thing is, like, in terms of the free market, when there are Eastern studios that are, like, for example, there's here it is. Insider Gaming just posted their review of Where Winds Meet. And this is something we talked about on Monday, but it's this massive free to play. They rated it great. It's a massive free to play adventure exploration RPG game. And it's monetized through cosmetics exclusively. And it's got roughly 150 hours of content, and you can just check it out and play it for free. And like, it's just fan servicey in that way, but you can just go play it. And it makes big games like what Ubisoft pumps out, these big open world games that are premium titles that are $70 and then have $40 expansion passes and all the paid cosmetics anyways. It makes them seem like just egregious in their pricing when they can come out and release it for free and then monetize with cosmetics on the back end. And I think that increased competition is what's really going to push a lot of these studios to either shut down or make massive improvements. I just realized I'm over time to meet up with Jor. So I do think that that's a component. I do think that increased competition is going to force these companies to either put up or shut up. And so companies like Bungie may fall by the wayside, with other companies like Embark coming out and just showing them how it's done. And then other big companies, whether it's putting out games like Black Myth Wukong or Where Winds Meet or Phantom Blade Zero or whatever it may be, those studios are going to start to give some of these other big publishers and big companies in Western markets a run for their money and show, like, no, you got to be hungry. You can't be greedy like this. You can be greedy when you have the market cornered and you dominate and you can charge whatever you want. You can't do that when there's a lot of competition. You just can't be that greedy anymore. But to just quickly wrap this up, let's circle back to this.
This is for the show fans that currently Xbox and Bethesda want to take every dollar from, as we'll get into with the prices in a moment here. But this is not about you or me, the people who love this franchise, kind of helped get it there in the first place. Shout out to all the OGs for Fallout 1 and 2 who got us to 3, because that's when I jumped in. Things like this, like, how does that fall through the cracks? Like, how is the DLC not ready to go on PlayStation? Why is that fan base getting overlooked in all this? How is that a mistake that's made? I know I could hear it in my head. There are people who hear all these things. Maybe even people who work at Bethesda, like, little things, it's overreacting.
No, it's all these little things that add up for something that's supposed to be a big celebration of the franchise. I can't believe there was a point just a week or two ago, I went, I'm comfortably excited about Fallout between Burning Springs and Season 2. Now it's kind of become like, all right, I'm interested in Burning Springs, but the fact that, let's be real, okay, 76 has done a great job redeeming itself. I'll never take it away from the game. I'll also never be like that stay-at-home 76 fan. I'll dive into things like Burning Springs and then leave. That's just the type of player I am. But 76 should not be the center of the great content that Fallout is doing in the...
And I think that this is, I don't want to go through the whole thing because you should go watch Maddie's video. You should subscribe to Maddie because he's, again, offers a much more upbeat perspective than I often offer with these types of topics where I get really frustrated. But what he said there I think is important, which is Fallout 76 should not be the centerpiece of content. It should not be like the main hub of high quality content in Fallout. And that is something we said from the perspective of old school fans, of fans of the single player RPGs. It's pretty clear that for a BGS, live service is where they think their games should live for the majority of their lifespan. And you can look at, I mean, just as a matter of fact, like at this point, it used to be that we viewed the single player game launches as the big moment, and then the live service stuff holds you over until the big single player thing happens again. Fallout 76 launches to hold you over until Fallout 5, and Elder Scrolls Online holds you over until Elder Scrolls 6. It seems like Bethesda's perspective is flipped. ESO from ZeniMax Online, that is the moneymaker. That is the thing that generates extreme profit. And then the single player game is basically one gigantic promotion to get you into that online game. Fallout 4, it's a single player game, launched in 2015. It was very successful at the time as well. But since then, their focus has shifted to live service. So they have Fallout 76, and anything with Fallout 4 is basically meant to push you into Fallout 76. It's meant to funnel you into the live service platform where they can charge more, where they can milk you dry. And the same thing I think is going to happen with Elder Scrolls 6. It's going to funnel people into a new live service offering for Elder Scrolls. And it's also why I think that the next game from BGS probably is not going to be a single player game. I know some people get triggered when I say that, but Todd made a lot of comments. He made a lot of comments where he was walking back statements. For example, people were asking, what's next? When is Elder Scrolls 6 coming out? Is it out in the next couple of years? And he's like, I just want to go back to that. When I said that Elder Scrolls 6, I was talking about like the timelines. And at the time, Starfield wasn't out yet. So I said Starfield's coming and then Elder Scrolls 6 is coming after that. I just meant sometime after that. And I'm like, why would he need to clarify that? If it was next, why would he need to clarify? I don't mean Elder Scrolls 6 is next. I just mean it's coming sometime in the future. Fallout 5. Yeah, sorry, Fallout 5. I think like, because Elder Scrolls 6 is in production now, but with Fallout 5, that's what he's talking about with the timeline. I should clarify because I'm using the wrong terms. Thank you for letting me know. The timeline right now is Elder Scrolls 6, probably 2028, 2029. That's happening. Like that's established. After that, Fallout 5 was supposed to come at some point. So when Todd was asked about that and it was up in the air, people were questioning like, what are we dealing with? Initially, like it was pretty clear Fallout 5 is next. But Todd has since been walking back all of this. Todd has since been like shifting and rephrasing things and being like, I just meant it was sometime in the future after we finish what we're doing, after Elder Scrolls 6. And I think it's because they probably are working on like Starfield Online or a new Elder Scrolls Online variant where they're going to launch it kind of like a GTA Online or a Red Dead Online. They'll have the single player game, and then they're going to have a big Elder Scrolls 76 offering that drops relatively close after that. I think that's going to be their approach. Like I think that's what they're going to do. Because God knows it's going to be another 20 years before they do anything with Elder Scrolls after Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. So yeah, it's just, I think going back to all of this, again, I just think it's really, really crucial to understand that the Bethesda of like 2010, even 2015 is no longer there. The Bethesda that exists right now is a company that is focused on the live service projects that generate crazy money. They're focused on paid mods, microtransactions in their games. That's the focus. And the single player games are just meant to be a funnel to get you into those places where they can milk you dry. That's the goal. So yeah, like we can hope, we can dream that they return to their form, but pretty clearly they don't care. Pretty clearly they do not care. So anyway, good video from Maddie. It's something you should go watch the entire video. You should go subscribe, check out his other stuff, of course. But once again, it's just another example of Bethesda and Todd, I think, just being disconnected from the community and then showcasing that they just frankly don't know what the core fans want, and they don't frankly care because their focus now is on the live service stuff more than anything. So there you go. Anyway, let me catch up on these real quick. Fallout 76 is the reason why Fallout 4 never got a next gen re-release like Skyrim Special Edition with new content and features, and I'll never forgive them for it. I mean, whatever the reason, this Anniversary Edition, I think, is supposed to be the next gen update. And they're like, yeah, the paid mods are those improvements. That's the upgrade. And it's like, well, thank you so much for breaking the game at the same time. Let's see. Just returned from Kutnohora. Amazing place, says Sir Yogi. Ooh, I'm jelly. Let's see. I read that one. Sammy with the 2. Why GTA 6 delay PS6 next year with GTA 6? It was delayed because it wasn't ready, and the PlayStation 6 doesn't launch for another couple years. So, no, unfortunately. Anti-Parzival, thank you for that 5. We'll probably get Starfield 76 long before we get Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, Todd is now stretching the timelines out. It makes me wonder, maybe they moved up the live service project. I don't know. That would be very, very funny if they Bethesda's gonna have a major presence at the Xbox showcase next year. Everyone gets so excited for Elder Scrolls 6, and they're like, Starfield 76. We're so excited to share the future of Starfield with you. It's like, that's what they've been doing. That'd be so freaking funny. Did you see the Steam console reveal? Yes, we looked at it first thing on the stream. It dropped 7 minutes before we started the stream, so it was made to happen. Leo Breaker, thank you for the 5. Luke, looking for some kick-ass fun games for the Steam Deck. PS5, have any recommendations? KCD2 runs really well on the Steam Deck. Other games that are good on the Steam Deck, brand new Rue Valley, RUE Valley, very good, very Disco Elysium-esque time loop game, very fun. Works really well on handheld as well. Others, I mean, I guess it just depends on what you like. Thankfully, Steam now does have a tab just for like great on Steam Deck games. So there's plenty to sift through, but those are the ones that jump out immediately. Let's see. I read that one from Dogmatic. Thank you again for that. Luke, there's so much more they could have done with minimal effort, just like AI texture upscale would have been welcome. They've done nothing. Yeah, I mean, literally nothing. And they managed to still charge more for it. It's pretty egregious. Jimothy, thank you for the membership re-up as well. Alex, thank you for the major super chat as well. Thank you. Very generous. Let's see. I read that one. Okay, and then we're back to discussing the trailer. Okay, and then voila. Okay, we're all caught up. Booyah. Thank you, guys. Starfield on PlayStation in the future? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then Fallout New Vegas was just resold as is. Well, and they gave you a render of a statue that may or may not exist. So there's that. You're welcome. Okay. Well, fam, where did I put this app? Okay. We've tackled that. Stupid Fallout stuff. Always more to talk about there. Let's see, really quick, just to let you know, they did confirm that Bungie will launch Marathon by March of next year. So some people were saying that maybe they would push it out until like later next year. No, they've reaffirmed that they are getting it out the door. So it is still launching by March of 2026. The CFO, Lin Tao, said that Bungie's Marathon was still in active development and that the company was fully dedicated to launching the game in its current fiscal year. Their fiscal year ends March 2026. So it probably launches in February, maybe early March. But it is happening. So they're not pushing it out of this year, this fiscal year, that is. So you're not getting away from it that easy. Tell you what. Oh, that's funny. Xbox did react to the Steam machine reveal. Phil Spencer answered it. We were just talking about what's his reaction to it. He did react to it. As one of the largest publishers on Steam, Xbox boss Phil Spencer welcomes the Steam machine. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, Phil. I'm sure you do. Gaming moves forward when players and developers have more ways to play, create, especially across open platforms. Expanding across PC, console, and handheld devices reflects a future built on choice, core values that have guided Xbox's vision from the start. As one of the largest publishers on Steam, we welcome new options for players to access games everywhere. Congrats on today's launch. Interesting. I'm so curious how this affects or what this is like in comparison to the Xbox offering. I don't know, man. I'm so curious. No game packs on Linux, bitch. Well, that's the thing though, is that like technically there is sort of a way to get Game Pass working on Steam Deck as far as I understand it. I've not personally set it up myself, but I do think it's possible. Game Pass. It looks like they do. This guy says he got it working, no streaming required. A lot of people use xCloud.
Ever since the Steam Deck launched, people have been asking over and over and over for the same thing. Specific Steam Play compatibility tool. Switch this over to Proton Experimental. Close this window, click the green play button. Go through the typical Battle.net installation process. Go ahead and untick the box that says Launch Battle.net when you start your computer and take you to the correct website. Click on Connections. Scroll down to Xbox Network.
So you see what I mean? Like, even if it's possible, it's a hassle. It's like pretty elaborate. But it is technically possible. You just have to like manually then route the games and connect the games to Steam as non-Steam games, but it's technically possible. So sort of, but ultimately, like if you mainly play games through Game Pass, I'm sure the ROG Ally X whatever is the best option, but still. A toddler can follow a guide. A toddler may be able to. A lot of my older family members maybe are not as capable as a toddler. It's just more involved. It's more involved. A lot of people think that if it's not just press a button, that it doesn't work. You know, it's like too much work. Video tutorials though are great. If you can just follow step by step, you can do so much. Also, shout out to Warhorse. They announced that they have sold 4 million copies of KCD2. 4 million copies. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. For a very niche hardcore RPG especially, 4 million copies is crazy. It's crazy. So shout out to them. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. But okay, fam. I gotta go there. I gotta leave it there. Gotta go work on something real quick. I will have a video up on Anno 117 on the main channel here in just a few minutes. Those are my guilty pleasure games, and that will be up in just a little while, so you can check that out. As for everything else, we'll be back with the stream on Friday, hopefully with lots more to chat about, even more. Free roam will be up. We just have some tech stuff we're working out. So we're going to record this week's episode and then upload it separately, because we're going to try a new setup for getting cameras and stuff working. Sounds more complicated than it is, but we just want to be able to troubleshoot it, and we don't want to have to sit here with you guys listening while we try to troubleshoot it if it doesn't work quite right. Okay, it's going to be great. Until next time, my friends, much love. Keep an eye out for the podcast. It'll go up here in just a little while, probably later tonight. Okay, much love. I'll see you soon. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.